In this video, we are going to learn to construct the perpendicular bisector of a segment, and we will learn to construct the angle bisector. And we're going to use those two concepts to be able to construct the circumcenter of a triangle, which is just three perpendicular bisectors, and we will construct the centroid of a triangle because that is just three angle bisectors. Okay, let's start with problem number 1 right here. If we want to construct the midpoint, we're really going to construct the perpendicular bisector because those two concepts are very closely related. So what you want to do is take your compass and put the metal point on one end and open your compass more than halfway. Okay, more than halfway across. Then you can imagine that a perpendicular line going through here, you can visualize about where it's going to be. So you're going to put your point on one end of the line segment and draw a small arc, making sure you go through the area where you know that perpendicular bisector is going to be. And then do the same thing on the other side. Okay? It's tough to do without blocking the camera, but put your point down and draw your arc. Hold on, let me see if I can get this. Okay, so you're going to want to do that above and below. Now, keeping your compass the same size, you're going to want to do that again from the other side. Okay, so here I am on the other side. Now I'm going to draw my arc, noting the intersection points. And again, I'm going to do that on both sides of the line. Uh-oh, it budged. Hold on, I have to reset my... Alright, moved a little bit, but I think I can save it. Okay, so if you do that, notice you'll see two intersection points. Alright, there's one here and there's one here. If you draw using your straight edge, okay, draw the line that goes through those two intersection points, then what you're drawing is your perpendicular bisector. Okay, so that line I just drew will now be perpendicular to the segment. And it'll be a bisector because this will be the midpoint. Alright, so it said construct the midpoint. This intersection point right here is the midpoint. So this side and this side will be congruent to each other. So when we do problem number 2, it's going to be the exact same thing. Alright, because what we constructed in the first place was in fact the perpendicular bisector. So we just get to practice. So again, put your compass on one end of the segment and draw yourself a small arc. Alright, now draw that arc on both sides of the line. Now jump to the other side of the segment, the other end point, and plant your point, and then make two more arcs, one on each side. So I've got one over there, and I'm going to have one over here. Okay, and again, those two intersection points show me where the perpendicular bisector is. So if I draw a line through these two intersection points, that is going to be my perpendicular bisector. Okay, so it's going to be perpendicular like here. And these two halves are going to be congruent to each other. And guess what? This will be the midpoint. Alright, so now the second big concept. No, we're not ready for the second big concept. We're going to now find the circumcenter by constructing three perpendicular bisectors. Okay, so basically I'm going to repeat the process that I just did Alright, let me move you down here so you can see. Alright, so we're going to find the circumcenter by constructing 3 perpendicular bisectors. I'm just going to repeat the process I just showed you 3 times. Okay, let's see. So, I'm going to start with this side. And so here's an arc. Come over here. Here's another arc. Okay. I need to do it on both sides of the line though. So here we go over here. And over here. Man, this is tough to do with the camera here. Alright, I think I lost my width. Okay, well, okay, it got a little dicey there, but I think you can see here I've got my 2 intersection points. So this is going to be one of my perpendicular bisectors. Okay, so I need to repeat that 3 more times. I think I'll do it on this side of the triangle now. Okay, it might get a little bit messy to see, but I think we can do it. Okay, so I did above and below. I'm going to jump over here now. Alright, I'm going to find that intersection point on both sides. Okay, so it gets a little messy because there's so many intersections, but if you can keep track, we're intersecting here and here. So this is going to be another perpendicular bisector. Okay, so that is the perpendicular bisector of this side. Now I'm going to do it one more time over here. Okay, so one more time on this side. Okay, so out here it'll be a little bit easier to see, but over here it's going to be a little bit more of a mess. Alright, then I'll do it, switch around and do it from this side. Okay, so there's a nice clear intersection there, but then on the other side, alright, it's a little bit harder to see because of all the intersecting lines, but hopefully you can see we have our intersection here and here. Okay, so straight edge time. Alright, it gets a little bit messy. I almost wish we had different colors. Okay, so there's my 3rd perpendicular bisector. Now, notice that all 3 perpendicular bisectors meet right here. Okay, so that point of intersection is the circumcenter. Alright, now look at problem number 4. We're going to find the centroid by constructing 3 medians. Alright, earlier I misspoke and I said we would find the centroid by constructing 3 angle bisectors. That's how we're going to construct the incenter, but the centroid is what we get when we do 3 medians. Now, this vocabulary word median, a median is a segment connecting a vertex and the midpoint of the opposite side. So basically, I need 3 midpoints, and then I'll be able to draw these medians. Well, finding the midpoints, once again, is going to involve making these perpendicular bisectors. Okay, so let's just do it all over again one more time. Okay, I'm going to start from this side. So here I have an arc right here, above and below the line. Okay, now if I jump around to the other side, okay, It's very tricky because the point wants to slide around. Alright, but I think we can do it. So there it intersects there and there. Okay, see those two intersection points? Okay, I can use those to make my little perpendicular bisector. Okay, but it's really the midpoint that I need for this problem. So there's my midpoint. So I need to do that 2 more times. So I'm going to do it to this side. Alright, you got to make sure you're more than halfway to get it done. Okay, so here's my arc up here, and I need another one down here. Okay, now I'm going to jump over to this side and find those intersections. So here's an intersection there, and there's another one over there. Okay, see these two intersecting points? Okay, they will guide me to the midpoint. Okay, so right here is the midpoint because this is my perpendicular bisector. So I've got another midpoint. So we just have to do it one more time. Okay, it gets a little bit messy with all these lines, but what are you going to do? So I've got an arc up there, and I'm going to have an arc over here. Now I'm going to jump to the other side and try to find these intersections. So there's going to be an intersection right there, and another one right there. Okay? So my intersections are here and here. Okay, so here is my other midpoint. Now, I know this is looking like a crazy mess, but this is all part of the process, I assure you. So what we really needed were these midpoints. Now, the median will be a segment connecting a vertex to each midpoint. So, you know what? I feel like I should grab another color. Okay, I'm going to do this in blue. Okay, so I'm going to connect each vertex with a midpoint. Alright, so there's a median. There's another median. And there's another median. Okay, so these colors help. Notice that all 3 medians meet at a single point, and that point is called the centroid. Okay? Alright, let's just do one more problem in this video, and this will be the last one for this video. Okay, so for problem number 5, we're supposed to find point Q, which is 1/4 the length of the segment. So I think our strategy should be to find the midpoint and then find the midpoint of one side of that segment. Okay, so if I want to find that midpoint, once again, I need to be bigger than half. Oh, you can't see this, can you? Haha. Okay. We're supposed to be finding point Q, which is 1/4 the length of this segment. Alright, so it's going to be around here somewhere. So my strategy is going to be to find the midpoint and then find the midpoint of 1/2 of the segment. So here I am more than 1/2 of the way. I'm going to spike my point right there and do an arc above and another arc below. Alright, I'm going to jump to the other side and find the intersections. So there's an intersection up there, and there's an intersection down there. Okay. Okay, so these two intersections help me know where the midpoint is. So this is going to be my first midpoint right there. Now I need to go ahead and find the midpoint again of one side. So I can do that like this. Okay, I can just make it a little bit smaller. So here's an arc above, and here's an arc below. Now I'll just switch around to the opposite side and make another mark here and a mark here. Okay, it almost didn't meet, but I think it's enough to see that it's going to be here and here. Okay, so this is the midpoint of 1/2 of the segment. So that means this will be my point Q, which should be 1/4 of the distance of the whole segment. Alright, that's enough for one video. We still have more to come. We have 2 more problems to do. In the next video, we're going to learn how to construct the angle bisector. Okay, but we'll do that in the next video.